Okay, call to order the regular meeting of the Greater Boca Raton Beach and Park District, March 17th. Do a roll call.
Commissioner Ernst,
Here.
Commissioner Engel,
Here.
Commissioner Rollins,
Here.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
Here.
Commissioner Wright.
Here. Any changes?
But now that we've heard that you're deferring to the city with regard to the master plan, how is that going to be integrated, or will there be any consideration for what you've had in the past with that regard? And so in that standpoint, there was questions about the city's past efforts of having the new golf course that they have, while you were also spending about $1 million on the golf course on North Park without knowing what was happening with the city, and that all those efforts of that golf course planning was kind of down the drain, unfortunately. And lastly, has a district treasurer asked the lender for a discount to pay off the loan on the property early, since the loan rate that you have is probably lower than the current market rate, as opposed to waiting until the date that you have. It's quite common for things that are below market rates, you might be able to actually pay it off early, regardless of the fact that you have maybe 2 more years before you can call it early at par at the full value. So you might be able to save money on that standpoint. So those are the questions I think that the neighbors have asked. If you have time to consider that, people would be interested in knowing. Thank you.
Yeah, real quick, Brianne.
I just want to clarify the bond that is taken out on the west side is a city bond. So our treasurer actually would not be able to negotiate anything on that. We'd have to go through the city. Just wanted to clarify that.
I want to add one thing. Public municipal finance is really confusing. It's a lot more documents. It's a lot more, this whole step up concept of dollar amount. And so they look at it more as an average rate over the life of the thing. So it's not that easy. And it's really with the city of Boca, as Brianne pointed out.
Okay. And is golf still going to be?
Oh, yeah. So I have a quick statement because we have gotten emails over the past few days. So I just have a quick statement. We want to address the concerns that have been raised in response to a recent Facebook post, falsely claiming there is a conspiracy to develop affordable housing on the west side of Boca Chica property. Let me be clear. There have been no discussions regarding the use of that land for anything other than recreation. The City of Boca Raton and district staff are currently working together on a recreation allocation plan to help relocate recreational amenities that will be impacted by the proposed campus master plan, which includes the west side of North Park. However, no discussions have taken place regarding any non-recreational use of this land. Additionally, the city and the district are focused on prioritizing and expanding recreational opportunities in our community, including relocating the downtown softball fields to Sugar Sand Park, identifying potential sites for an aquatics complex, a skate park, and a field house, and developing additional rectangular fields which are in high demand. We have been crystal clear with the city that nothing other than recreation should be planned for the west side of North Park. Any changes to the conceptual master plan will always be posted on an agenda and publicly discussed to get public input. Regarding golf, the City of Boca Raton currently owns and operates 2 municipal golf course facilities. The district has no role in managing or making decisions about golf courses in the city. We are aware that the city is actively working on programming and renovations for its golf courses to meet public needs. If you have any concerns or ideas about family-friendly golf amenities in Boca Raton, we strongly encourage you to reach out directly to the city to make your voice heard.
Thank you.
So if that clarifies that, I hope it does.
I believe though that your current plans that you have do show golf on the western portion.
Yes, nothing has changed on the western portion.
Okay, but of course, nothing's gonna happen until I guess the loan is paid off as far as that's concerned, or your master plan incorporates some of that.
Our focus right now, and it's always been, is to build out the east side, and then we're gonna start on the west side. And this board, if anything ever changed, they would talk about that publicly. That's the plan right now, and that's where our budget is for the east side.
Okay, thank you.
And the east side should be breaking ground this year. So. Okay, any other public comment? Please state your name, your address, and you have 3 minutes.
Do I have to press the button or anything?
Nope.
Christian Castro, 295 Northwest 64th Street. One of the residents on that, one of those sliver of homes right there in the middle of that golf course on the northwest side of the west side of the North Park. And yeah, it's come to our attention that maybe the city was maybe in talks, I think on January 13th, Boca City workshop. Mark Wedger brought it up in regards to, in return for you guys not to pay back on the bond, they would take the land in addition to some consideration for whatever purposes they had, maybe recreation, maybe affordable housing. So I'm not sure if of you guys have reached out to any of the commissioners on that side in regards to that. but-
Nobody's reached out about that. I've been working with the recreation staff and the city staff
Mhm.
on looking at North Park, if there's any place that they could put some of their downtown recreational amenities that are getting lost in the downtown plan. Like they have a tennis center down there, the skate parks down there, the ball fields. That's the extent of the conversations. This board has never, ever entertained the idea of anything other than recreation on that property.
Okay, perfect. That's great. And as for the bond, how much longer do we have the bond? How much is left? What are the options in order to refinance it? When I think it's due what, in 1 year? Am I correct?
No, we plan to pay it off in 1 year. It's due in 2030, but we're planning to pay it off early. That was the plan. The city has the bond, and we have an interlocal agreement with the city to pay them back for that bond. And our plan was to pay that off at the end of 2026, early 2027.
Pretty much covered. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hello, my name is Angelo Sands. I live at 7348 East Country Club Boulevard, Boca Raton, Florida, 33487. Okay. There's the poster. Okay. Yeah, a couple items, quick items today. First, the James Hardy Pro Football Hall of Fame Invitational will be held April 4, 5, and 6 here in Boca. The Champions Tour event, but we signed a deal with the NFL Hall of Fame. So we're going to have another 60 players there who happen to be Hall of Famers from the NFL. So it's going to be really, really cool to have the professional golfers play with professional Hall of Famers. And so I just wanted to kind of give you aware of that. And again, thank you to Beach and Parks and the city. A number of years ago, this tournament was in jeopardy, and the Beach and Parks and the city came through to help fund it. And it's still going, it's still a success. And, it's amazing what can be done when both sides are in on the same deal. Okay. I've been coming here, I don't know what, 7, 8 years. Okay. I've always seen my role here. Since I've always been in the golf industry, is to provide you information, facts, statistics, what trends, that type of thing. I've done that again. The packets are in front of you. Those packets are kind of interesting, especially the one on top, because the other two I've given to you before, but right now you're in the process of making some decisions, so I thought you'd get it. And it kind of takes away some myths. Like, for example, most people don't realize that 75% of all the golf courses in this country are public. The fastest growing groups are youth, females, and people of color. And the leading group, leading the charge here is 18 to 36-year-olds. So there's a lot of things changing in golf for the better. I thought it was my responsibility to come in here and bring you those packets, which gives you the stats and statistics. Again, I want to thank you for all that you do. I hope to see you at the event, the tournament. And good luck in your decision making. Like I said, I felt my job was always to provide you statistics, okay? Being an economics major, okay? Thank you. Take care.
Thanks, Angelo. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Jason Hagensick, President and CEO of the YMCA of South Palm Beach County, 2500 North Military Trail. On behalf of the YMCA of South Palm Beach County, I want to express our continued interest in further exploring a phased development project at what is being referred to as North Park. We believe this site presents a tremendous opportunity to expand community programming and services in alignment with both the YMCA's mission and district's vision for recreational and community engagement. As you may recall, in 2023, our YMCA was one of the finalists invited to present our vision for a facility focused on pickleball and other paddle-related sports and activities. While that particular opportunity did not go our way, we remain committed to exploring ways we can partner with the district to enhance recreational and wellness opportunities for the community. Our initial concept for North Park involves a long-term multi-year lease by the Beach and Parks District, which would allow us to begin with a program-focused approach, offering summer day camps, youth sports, and other community program-focused activities. Over time, and as significant fundraising efforts progress, we envision expanding the project into a traditional full facility YMCA, incorporating wellness, aquatics, and other essential programs that would serve the greater community. To support this vision, we have already formally engaged with Grow Development for schematic design services at our cost, helping us shape a plan that is both financially viable for our YMCA, but is also responsive to community needs and the needs of the Beach and Parks District. So we would welcome the opportunity as you continue to explore opportunities at North Park to come before the commission in late April or even into May with our vision for what we would like to see done in collaboration with Beach and Parks District, the city of Boca Raton, and the YMCA of South Palm Beach County. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jason. Anybody else?
My name is Harold Chaffee, President of Keep Golf in Boca. I live at 6200 Northwest Second Avenue. I'm glad you presented the speech that basically this is what you plan, because a lot of people have been asking me basically what's going on. Because if the city comes up with a master plan and what you want to do is not in it, then it's a battle to put it in there. So I'm just hope that basically we stand fast with what we were going to do, what we intended to do. Because talking to some city council members, they do not want a golf course. They say, why would we let you do a golf course when it's in competition to ours? So I'm hearing all kinds of different stories here. So I just hope that we fight for what we want. There is a golf course needed. People did it. It wasn't your needs. It wasn't all your needs assessment and all the other things. This goes back 5-10 years ago. All these requirements that people wanted or needed. Pickleball was actually the last one on the list. That seems to be the one that you favored. But don't forget the people that play golf, the golfers. All right, thank you. And happy St. Patrick's Day. And good to see Robert again.
Thanks, Harold. Anybody else with public comment? No? Okay, we'll go ahead and close public comment and do approval of the minutes of the previous board meeting held on March 3rd.
Move to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Ernst,
Yes.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang. Yes. Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, moving on to regular business, North Park maintenance resolutions.
Commissioners, on page 4 of your agenda packets is a brief memo outlining a request for you all to pass this resolution tonight so that we can continue our maintenance agreements currently in place. Both vendors have agreed to keep pricing the same as proposed in 2021 when we awarded these contracts to them. I'll let Mr. Horowitz weigh in on the resolution and the process if everybody, after your discussion, you all agree to vote on it.
Thank you, Brianne. And for the record, I just want to read the title of the resolution, which is referenced as resolution number 2025-01 into the record. The item is a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the Greater Boca Raton Beach and Park District, approving and authorizing the execution of the First Amendment to the Agreement for Landscape Services between the district and Yellowstone Landscape attached to Exhibit A, approving and authorizing the execution of the First Amendment to the Agreement for Landscape Services between the district and South Florida Bush Hog attached to Exhibit B, finding the extension of both landscape agreements to be in the best interest of the citizens and residents of the district, providing for conflicts, severability, and providing for an effective date. As Brianne indicated, these are two agreements for landscape services in North Park that the district entered into in the fall of 2021. The agreement, there was a competitive process that resulted in both vendors being engaged for that purpose. The contracts provided for, excuse me, a certain term of years along with the renewal. They are expiring later this year. Your professional staff has expressed an interest in extending those agreements further, and there's a host of specific findings set out in the resolution, which sets forth the premise for the limited extension of both contracts. The items are properly and legally before you this evening, both reflected in the resolution and the amendments that are attached as exhibits thereto for your consideration, Madam Chair and Commission.
I also want to note that our insurance terms are the same and we have current copies of their insurance certificates on file.
And further to that point, there is no price adjustment. Each of these agreements, the prices and all terms and conditions remain identical to the existing agreement that the district has with both vendors. The only change to the agreements is the limited extension, providing for an additional renewal.
Okay. Anybody have any comments, questions?
Jacob, is there anything that I missed as far as assignment of the contract?
No, the same firms.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, both firms that we have currently have contracts with are remaining the vendors in privity with the district. There's no
Okay.
change to the with the corporate entities.
Okay.
And they understood when we started this agreement with them in 2021, they understood that eventually this property would be under construction. We do plan on being under construction on the east side, which will obviously impact their work. And so they understand that that will change as we start construction. They'll have less landscaping to do while it's under construction.
They've been doing a much better job than what we had doing, just kind of haphazardly.
Yes.
You drive by there and it looks decent.
Madam Chairman, on the basis of the fact that the cost per acre is competitive and lower than what we could find on the open market, and the fact that they've agreed to keep their rates the same for the extension, I'd like to make a motion to approve the extension of these contractual agreements.
Okay, second,
Second.
any other comments?
So just to be clear, if the acreage goes down and what they're cutting, the price goes down too.
Correct.
Okay.
They're doing less work. They'll change.
Okay.
Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Ernst,
Yes.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, moving.
Just for the record, that results in the approval of the resolution and the approval of both extensions to the agreements. Thank you.
Moving on to number 2, carousel repairs.
Commissioners, item number 15 is just a quote on some parts to purchase for the carousel. Just need approval tonight to order these parts. And with this is a 50% deposit that's in the invoices tonight if you decide to approve it. These are proprietary parts, so the only option is to purchase them from Chance Rides.
Move to approve said purchase.
Second.
Okay, any comments, questions? Nope. Roll call.
Okay, Commissioner Ernst,
Yes.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, moving on to the Ocean Strand Lift Station, Brianne.
Commissioners, page 17 of your agenda packets is just a memo citing some background. We had a developer come to us some time ago to talk about, back in March of 2023, actually, to talk about getting a construction easement on Ocean Strand to put a municipal lift station on the Ocean Strand property. We've gone back and forth for some time between attorneys. And at this point, we're just looking for some direction from the board if you want to move forward with this. They're willing to provide the district with $150,000 for the construction easement. This is this will come back to you later with the agreements for the actual construction easement with the developer, and then the city takes ownership of that afterwards. That's kind of noted in this memo. So tonight, just looking for direction if the board wants to move forward with this project. And move forward with us working with our legal counsel to get these agreements in place.
Aaron, where's the actual
So-
hard subjects to be the lift station itself? I know you're gonna, it has to be down somewhere on our property. And
So
then
it has to be on our property. It's probably going to be north of that roadway. When I talked to Chris Helfrich, he stated that it would be 150 feet away from the homes. The actual location of it is still up for discussion. It would be part of that agreement later on. We would decide on the specific location.
So there are homes that run the entire north
Length.
side of the property.
Correct.
And
So
so
there are some openings, and that's what I talked to Mr. Helfrich about, was placing this somewhere where it's less impactful to the homes directly on the other side. It would be 150 feet from them, but just less impactful to them. So we talked about the discussion on the location of this and all the things that we would want provided as far as maintenance and the connection availability to other people in the area. All those things would be part of that agreement that we would bring back if the board was interested in moving forward with it.
yeah, does that generate any noise of significance and as well as any other problems that we might anticipate for the neighbors?
I think there's some impacts as far as sounds go. I know, Commissioner Ernst, you said you have one in your neighborhood and it's minimal to your,
It's what you see outside, it's flat on the ground, it's underground. So the actual lift motors and stuff, you're never gonna hear. It's only if they have a problem with the gas. There's a whole process that they use, and that's all the city of Boca Raton's water and sewer, and I think they do a great job. You never know it's there. So I don't think there's any risk to this. It's more of a condition of where is it going? Just show us a map of where exactly is it going.
right, I think right now the map has it in a location that we wouldn't necessarily be agreeable with. So that would be a later discussion. If the board, if we get consensus tonight that you guys want to move forward with this, then we would really work with the city on the location and figure out the best place.
I'm willing to make a motion to move forward with it as you described, but subject to the agreement and the location.
Those would all come back
And
before for
correct, the
approval.
agreement and the easement will have to come back to the commission for further review.
Yeah, and I'll second the motion.
Go ahead.
I agree with Craig, though, that we need to confirm the location so that it doesn't impact the neighbors.
That would be in the agreement we bring
It
back. to
has
you.
could we put that into the agreement?
Yes.
It would be in the agreement that we bring back to you.
Well, I think just to be clear, it's not just the neighbors, it's us too. You know, you don't want to put it in a prime spot. I mean,
Right.
there is really, lift stations are next to houses all over Boca, so this is not a unusual occurrence, so. I
Yeah, but
think-
we're not living there, so. you know,
Agreed, but you know, it's just saying it is.
And so the benefits to us are really nothing. I mean,
Well, the benefits
unless
to the park are if you put this in this,
it'll be there for
through
the
this way,
bathrooms.
it's there for the restroom connections down the road. It also brings in FPL if you wanted to put in lighting or parking meters or anything like that. The benefit also is that later on down, if we decide not to go this route and we decide 5-10 years from now, we want to put a restroom down there, we would have to install that lift station ourselves. And we would also have to privately maintain that lift station ourselves, which, you know, as far as our limited staff goes, it's one less thing that we would have to address if we went this avenue.
So the benefit mainly is for the residents who live in the area to get off septic and onto city utilities.
And
Correct.
the district, because ultimately you can't have a park without, you know, structure, restrooms and.
Craig, there is a park there right now. There
That
is a
park
park.
is very incomplete.
There's a park that doesn't have bathrooms that we don't have to like maintain and have police out there or park ranger or
Planning
anything
for the
like that.
future, that's all.
Well, it'll be prettier than porta potties too, so.
Yeah. Which is what I wanted to bring up. One of the things I hear about Ocean Strand, it's a beautiful park. And one of my favorite parts is that little bench that overlooks the Intercoastal. It's very quiet and, you know, you can sit there and think about anything you want or not think about anything at all. But what I have heard from constituents is that they would like to see permanent restroom facilities and maybe some kind of parking arrangement. And this lift station enables us to do that. And from my point of view, if we had to maintain our own private lift station, it would be more trouble for us than we could handle, more work for us than we're in a position to handle. So if we have an opportunity to farm this out, yeah,
And get paid.
and get paid, I think this is something that we should take advantage of.
Is that it?
You need the second, right?
Oh, yeah, we had a motion and
We had a
Yeah,
motion.
ready
Did
for
you
roll
just
call?
second?
Yeah,
Okay,
it was seconded.
go ahead.
Okay, Commissioner Ernst,
Yes.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay. Moving on to number 4, North Park budget update.
I'll just find myself on the agenda here. Commissioners, on page 26 of your agenda packets is an update on, just from our previous meeting, we talked about North Park and the phasing plan, and there was some discussion. Sorry, page 20 of your agenda packets. I don't know where I got 26. Anyway, we've received a timeline from Middle Egg that kind of talks about the next steps. They're finalizing all the construction documents will be ready for the park by the end of this month. So then we expect to have estimates coming in April from the estimator that was approved at the last meeting. Originally, this plan to build out North Park was through motion directed to be phased in. Back in 2023, when we first started designing the east side, we decided that we would build this on a phased plan. We now have saved the money. We've got 9 million in reserves and 10 million that we set aside this year. So we have 19 million. We can do a budget amendment when we're ready to bid this project, and we can build it in one phase if we wanted to do it that way, rather than multiple phases. I just wanted to put that out there to get some direction, or let you guys decide if you want to talk about it when we get the actual estimate of the park, or
I mean, I think we should wait for the estimator to come back and give us the estimates, and then to talk to Miller Lake about.
when we're doing bid documents, do you want us to put them together in a phased plan still, or would you rather us do it in one? Because that's part of putting these documents together to put out to bid, is deciding what you're going to build first. So the previous direction was to build it in a phased way. Do we want to bid it all? Do you want us to put the bid documents together in one?
I think it depends on what kind of estimate we get back. If we get an estimate, say, for $20 million, then we're going to want to do it phased, because we don't have that kind of money right now. We get an estimate for 15 million.
We have 19 set
He
aside
said
for
we
the
do.
park. We have
Sorry?
we have 19 available to
Right,
build the
but I'm
park.
saying
So if it's 20, we could start building it, and then next year,
Yeah.
make sure we have another million.
But that's my point. If it's 20 to build it all at one time,
Mhm.
I would guess that we would want to build it in phases. If it comes in to at a level where we still have something left in our reserves, then the flavor of the board might be, well, let's all build it at one time. I don't know that I want to make a decision on how we want to bid it out without knowing what the actual costs are going to be, or what the estimated costs are going to be.
Craig?
I agree with what Steve is saying, but I guess I want to add, look, it first starts with what the cost estimate is, and that's a rough estimate.
Mhm.
But then we're getting into just the overall cost of this thing and other things going on with the city. I'd like to know more about that. I mean, part of it is, putting 20 million into this. We were shot down with an idea of a golf course for 20 million. And I'm concerned about just an overall spend on trails, and that it costs 20 million to build trails. I will come back to that, because I need to see the details of that cost. I understand there's a roadway. I understand there's 2 parking lots, 3 parking.
There's 3 parking lots, there's trails, there's a maintenance building, there's There's restrooms, there's plumbing that has to go in, there's electric, there's lights along every
I
trail.
get it. Let's get into that level of detail to make sure we understand what we're getting first, because I just feel that's a lot of money for trails. Maybe we don't do those things. The thing is think of it from my perspective. It's a capital cost you're putting into it and you're going to get zero return. So we don't have any, unlike a golf course where you're getting money back on the whole thing. That's a lot of money of taxpayer money to put in there. And so I'm just concerned about putting taxpayer money in at zero return. And so if you can accomplish something for the community, what do you want? You want community to get out there to do things.
I don't think
You-
parks have ever been built for profit, though. They're never been built to make money. It's part of our
And we
community.
knew that when we designed the east side, and that was the number one thing people wanted when we did our
I
needs
get that,
assessment,
but
is
we didn't kn-
multi-use trails.
But we did not know exactly what this is all. I don't like the idea of going to people and saying, here, I got 20 millions in my bank account, I'll spend it. I think it should be bid correctly in a normal way, is talking to a number of vendors to get it done. I get it. There's a governmental process of how we bid, how we're going to do that. I hope it's the most competitive process we can ever get, because it doesn't seem like it's trails, it's cement, it's grass. Okay, yeah, there's a couple buildings in it. Yes, there's some infrastructure in it. But I'm not sure it just seems like an awful lot of money.
I want to remind you, it's 70 acres. El Rio Park is like El Rio Park is less than 20 acres, and it costs the city, I'm sorry, the park is 14.68 acres. It costs the city almost $7 million. We're building a pickleball facility in a parking lot for $7.5 million. We're building a playground at Patch Reef for $4 million.
Yeah.
So, we're putting playgrounds out there. We're putting trails. When you make a statement that it's just trails for $20 million, I think that misinforms the public of what we are spending money on.
Well,
It's a lot more than just trails going in there.
What-
And the golf course was estimated, 6 years ago? We did that?
Yep,
So prices have increased, threefold since then, correct?
threefold? I don't think so.
I don't
I-
know
I-
about you.
I can-
My
well,
house
I
is
can
worth
tell you,
3
as
times
president of
much
our
as it
homeowners
was.
association, we've reduced our cost on trees, trimming, everything we do.
But I
Just by
think you're looking at
competitively
this,
bidding.
this park a lot less than what it costs to make it into what we're going to make it into. I think we need to look at the estimation when it comes in, and I think Miller Lake is going to do a great job at that, which they've done a fantastic job up until now at this point. So I think we need to look at that when it comes in, and then when we do put it out to bid, that's when we'll get the real numbers back on what it's going to cost. Exactly, because those are the contractors are going to do it, right? So
I'm okay with that. That's what I said. Let's get the cost estimates from Miller Lake as a starting point. But I also say we have a very successful P3 that is going forward, that's accomplishing a similar objective. They're getting someone else to invest 14, 15 million. I don't know. But I think go back to just why is the city even looking at what they're doing downtown? Why did they do what they're doing downtown? Because you need a tax base. It's all nice and fine and dandy, but you need to build a tax base. Otherwise, and it's got to be a growing tax base. Unfortunately, look at the long-term vision of how you do these planning of these things. If we sink 40 million into this entire park, that has zero return on it. That's going to be tough. That is, so it's one part of the park. I'm okay with looking at this part of the park. I just want to see the cost estimate. I think we have to be realistic. Maybe we have to change it.
I think $0 return to the district, but I think there's a benefit for the community that is not, there's not a way to put a price tag on that, but adding another park to the city is a pretty,
We are going in this is going to be a park for sure. We got that part of it. This is how big of a park, how much detail is in the park. That's the open question.
Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, I think we need to clarify a couple of things. First, we're not gonna figure out how we're gonna bid this till we know roughly how much it's gonna cost us. So, and that's the estimate that we're gonna get. That's the first thing. Second thing is, we're here to provide a service for the community. This property, as it stands right now, will never, ever be a part of the tax base because it will always be publicly owned land, whether it's our land, whether we work out an agreement with the city, doesn't make a difference. This is publicly owned land, and it's not going to add anything to the tax base. To that, I will also add, there's a bill before the Florida legislature that wants to eliminate property taxes altogether. So that whole discussion might be inconsequential. What our primary mission is to provide recreational facilities for the constituents that we have in the district, both in the city and outside the city. It's not our concern, our primary concern, as to how much we're putting in and not getting back. This is about, and we knew this from the get-go, this is about making an investment that people in services and amenities that people will get to enjoy. On top of which, there more than likely will be a field house that generates income. There more than likely will be an aquatics facility that generates income. If we add golf to it, if that remains a part of the master plan, if the master plan stays the way it is now, that will definitely add to it. So we're not looking at just a 70-acre park with nothing coming back. Or I'm sorry, a 200-acre park with nothing coming back. So that's all I got for now.
Thanks, Steve. Go ahead, Bob.
Well, I think we got a little off target there for a moment. We're talking about the east side of the North Park. And there's a lot of infrastructure that's going to be underground, a lot of things that are not going to be a true recreational expense. But I think the conversation regarding, let's see what the cost would be. The question originally was, do we want to put money aside for the whole park and go forward with it, or do we want to try to phase it in? I'm personally don't know which is the best, because I can't look down the road to see what other opportunities we might have. I like the idea of phasing it in, recognizing that there's some savings by staging it all at one time. I get that, but until we finalize, our recreational master plan to accommodate what's happening downtown with, and even in the Park and Commerce where I am in Brick, we need to keep our powder dry as much as we possibly can, in my opinion. I would like to know if we have to do it, and if we have to tell the architects that we want to have a phased in amount and then an actual amount, then I say, let's do that, because I'm not ready to commit to go forward for $20 million. But I do want to provide some forward progress and some utilities, because it's going to take a while to get things done on that with utilities, the underground, the building, the maintenance facility. I mean, these are hard things that are going to have to happen before we can even use that as recreation. So let's, my feeling would be to take a look at both options and see which one we want to do based upon where we think we might be headed and serving the recreational needs of the community as the community is going to expand with these downtown projects in Brick, and even in my Park of Commerce, there's another building's going to be torn down and another 300 units going in there. We need we need to right now be pull it in and pretty close to the vest and to make the best decision for our future recreational needs.
So we'll leave it, if I'm getting consensus here, we'll leave it as is and not amend the budget. We'll just plan on phasing it until we know more about
And then
the,
what do we have allocated next year for it?
we haven't done next year's budget yet.
Okay, so we have nothing at this point in terms of
There's
like.
nothing that's been adopted in a
Okay.
budget yet. Yeah.
I agree with you, Bob. There is something to say about mobilization and moving dirt all at one time, but with the trends for recreation changing and for the opportunities that are out there for possible P3s, even with the mountain biking people, they expressed an interest in helping us. At first, it was just design, but maybe they would help us with some of the financial aspects of it. The most important thing to me is, I mean, obviously the infrastructure, we found out that there are, non-native plants that had to be moved. We had to do the north entrance, but the security is primary.
Mhm.
I think the more security that we can have on those trails and in our playgrounds and what have you is very, very important. But I think the phasing is and seeing what the costs are going to be.
Okay.
I just want to say this east side is going to be like nothing else we have in Boca. Nothing else like any other city has in the area. So let's just keep that in mind that it's not just trails. It's 70 acres of open green space that we're preserving for our families, right? And our kids. So don't just look at the price tag on it. We can do the price tag, right? Look at it in terms of our longevity and what it can do for our health and wellness and well-being for the people that are around there and the people that are going to come there. Okay? Just keep that in mind.
Okay, I got my direction. Okay.
Okay. Approval of payroll and invoices.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion for approval of payroll and invoices in the amount of $3,166,718.28.
Second,
Roll call?
Commissioner Ernst,
Yes.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
yes.
Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Reports and discussion items. Executive Director Harps.
Commissioners, just a few items. The draft agreement for the softball fields at Sugar Sam Park with the city was sent out to you all on Friday for your notes. Thank you to those of you who got me your feedback. I'm going to take all that feedback after Wednesday and incorporate it into the agreement with the help of Sam's office. And we'll get that over to the city for them to take a look at. And hopefully we'll come back at our first meeting in April. We have an extra week in between those meetings. So hopefully we'll come back at the first meeting in April with an agreement for you all to take a look at and consider adopting. The pool resurfacing project is done and it was done on time and on budget. No change orders. The playground and pickleball projects are both progressing on schedule, looking really good out there. On Friday night, I attended the mayor's State of the City address at Meisner Park. I wanted to mention that I was really impressed with the enthusiasm and dedication of all the departments in the city who set up tables to educate the public on what they do. And they showcase the services, all the services that the city has to offer. Of course, some partial recreation services, but everybody out there did a great job and they were engaging with the public and it was an overall great event. And I'll let Commissioner Rollins and Commissioner Ernst talk more about that. And then I wanted to let you all know that the Centennial Passport Program for visiting our parks and getting some Centennial swag is out. You can get your passports downstairs, get your stickers, get your stamps. You do have to do a little bit of work to get your stickers, you know, learn a little bit about the parks as you go, but it's a fun program and you all have your passports, so you all can start participating. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Legal.
Just one quick update. As the commission's aware, the legislative session has begun. There are several thousands of bills that have been filed. Our office is continuing to monitor all the goings on in Tallahassee. As of now, there's nothing that's filed quite as draconian as some of the bills that we saw affecting special districts in the last session, but we are continuing to monitor and will be advising the commission as appropriate. That's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Steve, you want to go first?
Yeah, first, to all those that sent emails, thank you. I tried to respond to everybody. There are a couple of people that I haven't gotten to, so please accept my apologies. Having said that, the one thing that sticks out, and our chair mentioned this, we're not going to build any houses on any part of North Park. That's a non-starter. That's no. Okay, so I don't know where you got the information, but whoever gave you the information gave you the wrong information. All right. But I do encourage you to continue to get involved and stay involved in issues that come before the Board of Commissioners. We're here because of you guys, and we're here to serve you guys and ladies. Just one other thing. Counselor, I understand there are two pieces of legislation one that may affect us directly and one indirectly. there's a bill before the legislature about property taxes. Is that,
It is in its first committee currently. It's the first time a bill to that effect has been filed. I think we're all both at the district level and at the municipal level and at the county level watching that very closely. We're not anticipating any traction there, but we'll certainly keep you apprised to the extent that it gets any movement.
okay, and there's another bill regarding the elimination of CRAs?
Well, similar, that one has been filed in the past. It has not gotten traction in the past. I know that's one that we all pay quite a bit of attention to, and it is on our list to monitor.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Craig?
I also went with Bob and Brianne to the city, and Bob will share more about that. I echo Brianne's comments. So 2 thoughts. One, on this nice little passport, the big prize is a beach towel. All you have to do is go visit the parks. So it's a pretty easy one to get. And it's kind of fun. It's intended to be fun. Then number 2, while down there at the city, I did stay around and I talked to the city's designated architects and what they're doing. And I have to say, I was thoroughly impressed with who the city selected for the downtown campus. Tara Frisbee, just talking to each of them, they know what they're doing. These are the Addison Meisners of the future. So we should be very lucky to have someone with a vision of it. And I think we got to be somewhat flexible with it too, as they go forward in their process, because again, whatever they build down there is replacing CRA money that they are currently getting, which will go away. So there is a purpose and a reason for converting and having someone else build it out without taxpayer costs to it. So I think let them design it. Hopefully they'll do a great job. I'm pretty confident they're on the right path. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Craig.
Yep.
You spelled it out very well. Our task is to provide the recreational needs of these people who are going to be moving in there, which is a concern to me that we have a way to accommodate. And that's the reason why I say we play close to the vest on our investment, because we may need to do something, take a right-hand turn on another project of some sort. And welcome to our newest, youngest member of the audience. I'm happy to have them here. That's fine. I enjoy it. And I don't get to hear that often enough. But we had, as Craig said, Friday night, Brianne, myself, and Craig went to the city, listened to the mayor give the State of the Union, State of the City message. And he spoke for about 20 minutes without any notes, much better than I would have been able to do. But it was a wonderful event. And we were presented with this wonderful key to the city that Brianne is going to have mounted and placed in a conspicuous place. 100 years is a long time to have been here. It's remarkable that we have the amenities that we have now. Thankfully, the city and the district have collaborated over the years with the parks that we have here. And I think the parks are a special place for everybody. And we want to continue to accommodate those needs. And this key will remind us that we're partnerships with the city and have been and will continue to be that way. And I was impressed with the people who had gave of their time and sponsorship to come out, including Adam Hasner, who is a new president of FAU, who I'm excited about the possibilities of what he offers our community through the educational system at Florida Atlantic University. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Susie?
Nicely done. Well, I want to thank Angelo. I did not bribe him to bring these.
Are you sure?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would like to encourage our board to read all of these. Youth golf is really taking off. I see it firsthand. And a lot of these young players have the opportunity for scholarships, caddying, mentors to have a career in caddying if that's, something that they want to do. And unfortunately, Red Reef does not provide that, the length that they need for U.S. kids golf tournaments. The city municipal course is not conducive for the kids at this point. They do have a school over there for them, but it's the course itself is too challenging. The kids want to play, and so do some of the seniors. They want to play a challenging 9-hole course that has other amenities that they could have, areas for the kids to learn how to putt, that as well as learn how to study, have a place to go study after school. We want to keep the kids off their screens. And I think that by having the northwest side, as we had originally planned, to do a golf park, and I'm going to still harp on it, is very important. And there are groups out there that will fund it. There will be a P3 out there. There is interest, and I just want to keep our minds open. So thank you very much.
Madam
for
Chair, can I
letting me
make
rant.
Yeah.
one comment? I just want to reiterate what Steve said about the Facebook posting that was made about the district and suggestions that we would turn recreational property into residential housing. Our task as commissioners, as a district, is to provide recreation, not to buy property up and turn it into housing. I know in talking with George Brown, the city manager, he's all about recreation. He was not suggesting for a moment that we do anything over there. And I think one city councilman had mentioned that. But before somebody gets off on a tangent, check with the people who are involved. And I've had a few phone calls, and I put their mind at ease that we're going to continue to build recreational property, and in some form or fashion, if we strike a deal with the city on developing, helping us develop the west side, it's only in the hopes that we'll be able to finish up and develop phase 2 over at Spanish River, which we sorely need. We're a guest of Florida Atlantic University. They're growing, their needs are expanding, as well as our recreational needs. And we need to continue to push recreation and continue to try to do something over at phase 2 and get that project started. We have a lot of moving parts that we need to pull together. And I think that we have to be smart about it. And through this meetings that we've had with the city manager talking about recreation, I think we're going to get there. We'll have a good partnership. I'm sitting there looking at the $65 million they have over in a savings account from the sale of Boca Municipal that we need to try to figure out how to turn some of that into recreation dollars.
I
So
think I've asked for that, haven't I?
more than one
portion?
time, more than one time.
So-
So we're not going to
We'll
stop
ask
asking.
again.
Yeah, we're not going to stop asking.
No harm in asking twice,
Yeah.
right?
One thing to add on to that is just on the vision for the district, it comes overriding with accessibility for everyone. Accessibility meaning whether it's parking, whether it's whatever, to get to recreation, accessibility be affordable. So everyone can access what we're trying to have with a great community. And I think we have a great community already. We're only going to make it better. So the vision is to make North Park better. And that's the objective.
Yeah, the Facebook post was disappointing. I'm not on Facebook. I just saw it, so I don't know who posted it, but things like that, false information, sow distrust in us. And I know for me, and I know for all of you, you're only here because you care about the community. So we are very extremely transparent. If you ever have any questions for us, if you ever think we're doing something that is dishonest, or there's rumors flying around, come to our meetings. We have them every 2 weeks. So don't believe everything you read on Facebook or everything you get or hear from a neighbor or whoever it is. Like, just talk to the people who are dealing with the actual projects and doing the work that we do, because that's why we're here. We don't get paid for this. So the only reason I'm here is because I grew up here and that's my community. So don't ever think that we're doing something to get it by you without ever getting comment from you or what you think. we're only going to do what's best for our whole community as a whole. And it might not be necessarily exactly what one person wants or a group or whoever, but we're doing it for the community as a whole. And that's why we're having these talks with the city to make sure that what we are providing is for the entire community and what everybody needs. So just keep that in mind so that things don't snowball and like some things on Facebook kind of do. So always just come and participate in our meetings. We love having people here. Most of the time it's completely empty. So there you go. Anything else? All set?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Ernst?
Yes.
Commissioner Engel?
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes,
Motion passes.
we are adjourned.